You have arrived. Your ship slices through the silent vacuum. Below you lies a world of unending gray. Its official designation is a number, long and forgettable. You just call it Dustball. The mission is simple, a routine survey, a galactic box to be ticked. Your contract demands you scan every dead rock in this sector. This is just one of many. Twin suns, one white, one a tired orange, bleach the surface. There are no oceans. There are no mountains capped with snow. There are only dunes of fine, silicate dust. Your primary sensors confirm the obvious. No atmosphere to speak of. No liquid water. No life signatures. Not even a microbe. Your ship's computer marks the planet as sterile. It suggests you move on to the next target. But you hesitate. Something feels off. It's a silence that is too deep, too complete. It is the silence of a tomb. Most dead worlds have echoes of their past. Faint radiation from old volcanoes. Ghostly magnetic fields. This world has nothing. It is a perfect flat line on every instrument, as if it was wiped clean. You lean back in your command chair. Your ship is a marvel of engineering. It can detect the flutter of a protomolecule's wing from orbit. Yet it tells you this place is a void, an empty slate. You decide to ignore your ship's advice. You have a hunch, and your hunches have saved you from boredom more than once. You tell the computer to begin a deep resonance scan, a scan that will listen to the planet's very bones. The scan is a slow process. It sends a single pulse of energy deep into the planet's core. Then it listens. It listens for the echo. How the pulse changes tells you everything. It reveals the world's history, its composition, its secrets. You wait. The ship is quiet around you. The only sound is the gentle hum of the life support system. You sip a nutrient drink. It tastes faintly of disappointment. You have seen a dozen worlds just like this one. Failed planets. Places where life never had a chance. They are cosmic footnotes. Sad little reminders of a universe that is mostly empty. The computer chimes softly. The first results are trickling in. As expected, nothing. Miles of inert silicates. A core of cold iron. Then the chime changes. It becomes a sharp, insistent alert. An anomaly. It is not an energy signature. It is not a geological feature. Your screen displays a waveform that makes no sense. It is a quantum echo, a repeating pattern at the subatomic level. The particles of dust themselves are ringing like a bell. But this is impossible. Quantum states are supposed to be random, chaotic. This is structured. It is precise. It is a signal hidden in the fabric of reality itself. Someone, or something, engineered the very dust of this world. The silence is not an absence. It is a message. Your mind races with possibilities. Your heart pounds against your ribs. This is no longer a routine survey. This is a first contact with something beyond your understanding. You triangulate the signal's strongest point. The entire planet is humming with this impossible energy. But the source seems to be concentrated in a valley near the equator. You deploy a drone, a small, spider-like machine designed for sample collection. Its camera feed appears on your main screen. You see the world up close for the first time. The dust is finer than you imagined, almost like powder. The drone's metallic legs sink into it with every step. There is nothing to see, just an endless sea of gray under the harsh light of two suns. The drone activates its micro-sifting protocols. It extends a fine mesh and scoops up a sample of the dust. It begins to analyze it, grain by grain. The process is painstaking. Thousands of particles are scanned and discarded. They are all identical, just lifeless bits of rock. You start to think it was a sensor ghost, a glitch in the system. Your drone is about to discard another batch when it pauses. The analysis software flashes a bright green. It has found something, an object that is not silicate, not natural. The drone's manipulator arm, a delicate pincer, gently separates the object. It is tiny, smaller than a printed word on a page. But the camera zooms in, and you see it. A perfect crystal. Its facets are mathematically precise. It glows with a faint internal light. It is the source. This one impossible object, hidden among trillions of grains of dust, is the heart of the planet-wide echo. You instruct the drone to bring it home. Back on the ship, the mystery only deepens. You place the crystal inside a zero-field analysis chamber. The hum you detected from orbit is now audible, a low, resonant tone that seems to vibrate in your bones. Your ship's computer cannot identify the material. It has no known atomic structure. It seems to exist in a state between matter and energy. It is a product of a science far beyond your own. You feel like a caveman trying to understand a fusion reactor. You decide to probe it. Gently. You start with low-frequency radio waves. Nothing. You try light emissions. Still nothing. You move through the electromagnetic spectrum. You are careful not to damage the delicate artifact. For hours, the crystal remains inert, stubbornly silent, except for its persistent hum. You are about to give up. To seal it in a stasis box and deliver it to a proper research outpost. Then you try something unorthodox. A neutrino pulse, a particle that barely interacts with matter at all. It is a whisper, a ghost. The pulse passes through the crystal, and the world changes. The humming stops. The crystal flares with a brilliant, soft light. It projects an image into the air above it. It is not a complex data stream. It is not a star chart or mathematical formula. It is a picture. The lines are simple, almost crude, drawn with the innocent perspective of a child. It shows two figures. One is tall, the other is small. They are holding hands. Above them in a dark sky are two suns, one white, one orange. It is a family portrait, a drawing from a child who lived and died on this barren world. And you understand. This was not a weapon. This was not a beacon. This was a memory, preserved against the end of all things. The image of the child's drawing fades, but the revelation it brought remains. It burns in your mind. The crystal is not the message. The crystal is the key. It is a reader, a device to unlock what is hidden in the dust. You race back to your sensor controls. You reconfigure the deep resonance scan. You are no longer looking for an energy echo. You are looking for data density. You are looking for a library. The scan completes in minutes this time. The results fill your screen, and you gasp. The numbers are astronomical, unbelievable. Every single particle of dust on this planet is a storage device. Every grain of sand on every endless dune. Every mote floating in the thin, dead atmosphere. Each one holds a memory, a life, a story. It is a library the size of a planet. The civilization that lived here did not perish in fire. They did not flee to the stars. They faced their end with a purpose you can barely comprehend. They chose to transform themselves, to turn their entire world, their bodies, their cities, their history, into a final, lasting testament. The sheer scale of the project is overwhelming. The technology required is like magic. They did not just build a library, they became the library. This dead world is the most alive place you have ever encountered. It just speaks in a language of silence and dust. You take the crystal from the analysis chamber. You hold it in your hand. This tiny key unlocks a billion lives. Where do you even begin? You close your eyes. You point the crystal at a small sample of dust you collected. You activate it. You tell it to choose one record, one life, at random. The light from the crystal envelopes you. Your ship, your instruments, your own body. It all fades away. You are somewhere else. Someone else. You are standing in a room filled with warm light. The air smells of baked bread and strange, sweet spices. Laughter surrounds you. A family is gathered around a long wooden table. They are sharing a meal. You see through the eyes of one of them. You feel their contentment, their love for the people around them. You do not understand their words, but you understand their joy. You spend what feels like days exploring this one life. You experience a childhood of scraped knees and bedtime stories. You feel the awkwardness of a first romance, the pride of building a home with your own hands. You witness the birth of a child. You feel the profound, fierce love that comes with it. You see holidays and celebrations, funerals and moments of quiet grief. It is a simple life, a good life. These beings, the records call them humans, were not so different from you. They loved, they dreamed, they feared, they hoped. And then their story ended. You withdraw from the memory, breathless and shaken. You need to know more. You search for their history, not the personal stories, but their collective journey. You find records of their rise. You watch them build their first cities, great towers of metal and glass that scrape the sky. You see them invent tools, tame fire, learn the secrets of the atom. Then you find the records of their first steps to the stars. It is almost comical. You see their early rockets, massive, clunky cylinders balanced on pillars of controlled fire. They are beautiful in their primitive ambition. Many of them fail. They explode on the launch pad. They spin out of control in the upper atmosphere. Yet the humans never stop trying. Their courage seems to border on insanity. Your ship's I could calculate a safer launch trajectory in its sleep. But they had to learn through trial and fiery error. Then you see their greatest triumph. A single human, clad in a bulky white suit, takes a small step. He plants his foot on the pale soil of their moon. His voice, crackling across the void, is filled with an awe that transcends language. He speaks of a giant leap for all his kind. You watch them spread through their solar system. They build stations in the void. They walk on the red sands of a neighboring world. Their reach was small. Their technology was fragile. But their spirit, their burning need to see what was over the horizon, was infinite. As you navigate the library of dust, you uncover a darker chapter. The records become chaotic, distorted, filled with noise and pain. You find yourself in the middle of a war. Not a war against an alien foe, a war against themselves. The great cities of glass and steel become tombs of fire and ash. The sky, once blue, turns a permanent, sickly brown. Humans fought humans. They divided themselves by tribe, by belief, by the color of their skin. They built weapons of terrible power, weapons that could burn a city to the ground in a single, silent flash. You witness the horror of their self-inflicted wound. You see families torn apart, a world poisoned by radiation and hatred. They came so close to destroying everything, to wiping themselves out before they ever truly had a chance to live. The experience is jarring. It is a story you have seen play out on other worlds, a grim testament to the dangers of intelligence without wisdom. It is a warning echoing across time. This brilliant, creative, ambitious species had a fatal flaw. A capacity for self-destruction that nearly cost them their future. You almost turn away. This part of their story is too ugly, too painful. But you know you must witness it all. From the ashes of that great war, something new was born. The survivors looked upon the ruin they had made, and they were changed. The horror of their near extinction became their salvation. They saw the futility of their divisions. They realized they were one people, sharing one small, fragile world. A new age began, an age they called the Unification. They dismantled their weapons, every last one. They melted them down and turned them into tools for rebuilding. They erased the borders that had once divided them. They formed a single, planetary government. They made a solemn promise, a mandate for all future generations. Never again would human turn against human. All of their energy, their science, their art, it was all focused on a single, shared purpose. They knew their time was short. Their star, the great white sun, was growing unstable. It would one day consume their world. They did not have the technology to escape. They could not move a whole population to another star system. So they began their final, greatest project. Not a project of escape, but a project of preservation. They would not let their stories turn to ash. They would turn the ash into their stories. They would build a library of souls. You dive into their scientific archives. The knowledge you find there is breathtaking. It is physics that borders on philosophy, a science of consciousness itself. You learn how they accomplished this miracle. It was a process they called anamnesis. They discovered that consciousness, a person's memories, personality, their very essence, had a unique quantum signature. It could be copied. It could be stored. They engineered a way to imprint this signature onto a substrate, a single, stable particle, a grain of dust. They found a way to bend the laws of reality at a microscopic level, to encode a lifetime of experience into the quantum state of a speck of silicate. It was not just data storage. It was soul storage. They built great conversion centers, places where people could go when their time was near, to have their story added to the great library. They spent centuries perfecting the process, ensuring every memory, every nuance of a personality was preserved with perfect fidelity. They did not see it as an end. They saw it as a transformation, a way to achieve a different kind of immortality, a way to leave a message for the universe, a message that said simply, we were here, we lived, and we mattered. The sheer genius and audacity of their plan leaves you speechless. You decide to take a break from their history and science. You want to understand their heart. You search the library for their art. You select a file simply labeled music. There are no images, only a stream of pure information aimed directly at your consciousness. Suddenly, your mind is filled with sound. Complex harmonies, soaring melodies, rhythms that feel like a heartbeat. It is illogical, inefficient, and it is the most beautiful thing you have ever experienced. Some of it is filled with joy, a wild, unrestrained celebration of life. Some of it is drenched in sorrow, a slow, mournful cry for what was lost. It is a language of pure emotion. It tells stories without a single word. You, whose species sees music as a tool for calibrating sonic frequencies, are overwhelmed. You understand that for humans, this was not a tool. It was a vital part of being alive. Then you explore their visual art. You see paintings made of crushed pigments, sculptures carved from stone, Images that capture not just reality, but feelings. You see a painting of a swirling, violent sky that makes you feel a strange sense of wonder and fear. You see a sculpture of two figures embracing that radiates love and comfort. Their art is messy, chaotic. It breaks all the rules of symmetry and order. And that is why it is so powerful. It is a reflection of their own beautiful, chaotic souls. One of their artists could say more with a single brushstroke than your culture could say in 1,000 technical manuals. As you explore deeper, you find something different. A data stream that isn't a memory or a work of art. It is carefully indexed. It feels like a welcome booth at the entrance to a museum. It is labeled, "For the Finder." You activate it. The light from the crystal coalesces. It forms a figure in the center of your bridge. It is a human, an old man with deep lines on his face. His eyes are kind and filled with a weary wisdom. He is not a memory. He is an interactive reconstruction, an avatar. He smiles at you, and then he speaks. The crystal translates his thoughts directly into your mind. "Welcome," he says. "We have been waiting for you. For a very long time." He introduces himself as the archivist. He explains that he was one of the architects of this grand project. He tells you about their choice, about how they face their end not with fear, but with a quiet determination to be remembered. "We could not save our bodies," he says, his voice calm and steady. "The physics of the universe would not allow it. But we could save our stories. We believe that a story, remembered, is a kind of life." He tells you they did not know who would find them, or when. They only had faith that the universe was not empty, that one day someone like you would come. He asks nothing of you. He makes no demands. He simply says, "Listen to our songs, walk in our shoes, and if you find our story worthy, remember us." The avatar of the archivist nods, then fades away, leaving you alone once more. Before the avatar disappears, he guides you to one last record. He calls it the coda, the final memory ever recorded by a human. He says it is important that you see how their story ended. You brace yourself. You expect to witness fear, panic, the terror of non-existence. You activate the record. You are looking through the eyes of a woman. She's sitting on a grassy hillside. Beside her is a small child, her daughter. They are looking out at the sky. Their star, the white sun, fills the horizon. It is swollen and red, beautiful and terrible. This is the last sunset. The air is still and warm. There is no panic. There are no screams. There is only a profound sense of peace. The mother holds her child close. She points to the dying sun, and she begins to tell her a story. The story of their people, of their wars and their peace, their failures and their triumphs. As she speaks, a warm, golden light begins to emanate from their bodies. The process of anamnesis has begun. They are becoming dust, becoming memory. The child is not afraid. She is listening, rapt, to her mother's voice. The mother's last thought is not of the end. It is of the infinite love she feels for her child. Her vision blurs. The world dissolves into light. And then, silence. The story of humanity is complete. You are back on the bridge of your ship. The silence is deafening. The crystal in your hand feels impossibly heavy. The final memory fades, but its emotional weight settles upon you. You are the sole inheritor of this legacy, the only living being in the universe who knows this library exists. And now you have a choice, a terrible burden. Your mission requires you to file a report. The standard protocol is clear. Class Gamma World. No resources, no strategic value. a minor quantum anomaly of scientific interest. You would recommend a quarantine. The planet would be a red dot on a star chart, a footnote in an appendix of an obscure journal. Humanity's entire existence would be dismissed as a curious glitch. Their library would remain silent. Their stories would go unheard, forgotten. Or you can tell the truth. You can announce your discovery to the Galactic Council. And what would happen then? Scientists would come. They would praise the discovery. Then the corporations would come. They would find a way to monetize it, to sell human experiences as entertainment. Warlords would come. They would seek the secrets of the anamnesis technology. They would turn soul storage into a weapon. This sanctuary of memory would become a battlefield, a circus, a quarry. You look at the blinking cursor on your blank report. The fate of an entire species rests on what you type next. You stare at the blank report for a long time. The weight of a billion lives is on your shoulders. The archivist asked you only to remember. But that is not enough. To remember is passive. To protect is active. You make your decision. You delete the standard report template. You begin a new file. You declare the planet a unique archaeological site of unparalleled significance. You cite the ancient preservation mandates, a forgotten set of laws that protect the graves of extinct civilizations. Then you do something unprecedented. You file for sole custodianship. You name yourself the planet's guardian, its protector. You will not let humanity's legacy be plundered or cheapened. You will not allow their home to become a tourist trap. You are no longer a surveyor. Your mission has changed. You transmit the report to the Archives Council. It will take years for them to process it. By the time they have questions, you will be an expert on this place, on its people. You lean back in your chair. For the first time, you feel a sense of peace. Your life has a new purpose. You will spend the rest of your days here, wandering the dusty plains of this dead world, listening to its whispers. You will learn their songs. You will laugh at their comedies. You will weep for their tragedies. You will be the librarian of Earth, and you will share their stories, not with the greedy or the powerful, but with those who, like you, will listen with an open heart. Humanity is gone, but their echo will now last forever.